RCIS group. We have Mrs. AMBUJ Sharma, Headmistress, JAIN Residential School, Bangalore. We have Dr. Stella PANDHARE, who's a principal, the Millennium School, Bangalore. And we have PREETHI VICKRAM, who's the founder, L.I.F.E, L.I.F.E, and is the master franchisee of the PODAR Jumbo Kids group of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. So to begin with, I will not extend to anything else, and we go straight into the subject, because I'm sure all of you are quite concerned and worried as to what the future holds as far as the child's education is concerned. Okay. Our first question for the day for the principals will be is, will the lockdown affect the way classrooms will function going forward? Is the online method here to stay? Manjula ma'am, we go to you first.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be here speaking about, the new normal. Yes, I think for a long time now, we'll have to balance between face-to-face learning and online learning, because this is the first pandemic. We do not know what other things are coming in store in future, because nobody thought that a day would come like this. But I'm glad that the schools are all working towards keeping a touch with the parents and also with the learning. So there was never, I think it took about a week for us to get into shape. But thereafter, there's a lot of online. Sometimes I do feel there is too much of it, but at least that connect is there. And what is going to happen is that the parent will play a very major stake in the learning of the kids. Because till now, I think, I'm not offending anyone, but most parents had actually contracted it to the schools. So once a child is put into the school, except the parent-teachers meeting and, generally wanting to know what the kid is doing, but there wasn't, that close connect with the child in the learning process, which is a good thing, that has happened now.
But do you think this online thing is here to stay?
I think it will, because people have realized that you can do the same thing without actually getting into the trouble of traveling so far. You have access to the best of education in your own premises. You can live with everyone, share things together. So I think there would be a part of the online, definitely. It might not become totally online, but there would be. For adult education, I think it might become totally online. I don't think people will want to go to colleges.
Wonderful. AMBUJ ma'am, what's your view on this? AMBUJ ma'am, can you hear me? Hello, AMBUJ ma'am, can you hear me? Dr. Stella, are you on? Can you hear me? Can you
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, AMBUJ ma'am. Yes, I can see you.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Bala for inviting me on this platform, which is very, very relevant in today's scenario and the situation what we are facing. It is not only in India, it's a global phenomena, which is very, very alarming. And here, it is very, very important that with the academic rigor, we have to take care of each and every child's emotional, mental, social, and physical health as well. And as a team, as a school, we are working towards it. We have made many modules on it, because as my first panelist, she said that it is very important to be in touch with them and to connect with the parents and with the students and give them assurance that yes, it is going to stay for some time, but it is all right. We are all prepared to handle the situation, and we will take care of your academics. We will take care of your emotional, mental, and social health, as well as we will prepare you that there are many other options which are available to you. Because the children who are in 12th class, now they are worried that what are they going to do next? What about the results? What are the competitive exams? So our counselors are working round the clock to tell them and to gear them up that it's okay. If this field, what you were thinking for some time, if it is not there, there are so many other opportunities which are available. You can become a small-time entrepreneur doing different things. And as far as the online teaching is there, yes, it is going to stay. And for this, we need all our parents, and it is that all the stakeholders, we have to prepare them, we have to tell them and give them the clear guidelines that it is not only about making a brochure, it is not about only planning, it is not about my modules. All the stakeholders will be briefed about it. We are having many workshops, we are having conferences, we are having orientation program. So they are aware that what we are doing and what is our next step in taking these initiatives. And we have made a very strong mentor system where one teacher is made responsible of 10 children, and on a regular basis, one-to-one, she is connecting with parents and children to see that whatever we are doing is effective, and they are aware of it.
Sorry to cut you, but so you believe that the online thing is here to stay at whatever level?
Yes, for some time, yes, it is going to stay. But then we are preparing for the other tier also, that if we reopen the schools, then what are the measures which we have to take and how do we keep them safe?
I will come to that question, ma'am, next on this. And Stella, ma'am, do you also agree with what Ambuj ma'am is talking about?
I would say that we always tell the students or everyone that the only thing constant in the world is change. So we as educators, now we are seeing that even our education world has changed. In the next few weeks, as of now, we have the summer vacations going on for the kids. So in the next few weeks, we will be forced, like the educators, the teachers will be forced to unlearn the methods that they were following and relearn new skills so that we can survive as educators. It has become very imperative that we realign quickly to this new normal that ma'am was talking about, that is happening now. Virtual schools will now be a reality for some time in various degrees. Yes, I agree with what the other speakers told. And so we as facilitators and as parents, we need to equip ourselves with this new age techniques.
Perfect. We'll come to as to how you're going to be equipping them with these, powers. Preethi, what do you think? What's your opinion? You come from a preschools group.
Yes. So first of all, regarding your question about whether this trend is something that's going to stay, definitely yes, we are here. We are seeing a new trend. Just like when demonetization happened, I think the majority of the country switched to online payments and wallets and paying through apps. This is a trend that has been forced on us, and this is something that we had to really learn quickly or be left behind. So teachers are changing, students are changing, the entire education scenario is changing, and when it comes to children, especially the age group that I'm associated with, I think they are technology natives. So it's not looking new to them. Probably it's new to us. They've always been clued into technology. They've always been clued into how to operate gadgets, how to operate everything. So it just seems like a continuation for them. I agree with all the speakers that we need to orient them. We need to ensure that we are keeping it completely safe, ensure that the learning is continuous and there is no stopping in the learning that takes place, whether online or offline. We have to ensure that goes on. So how we do that is something that we can discuss.
No, I quite like your comparison of demonetization. It's quite interesting comparison. Yeah, I suppose we do get used to it. We do get to learn, we get to understand it and actually adopt it by the end of it. The next question I would like to ask is, are the schools really prepared for this change? I mean, are the teachers used to online, teaching through online? Is the school prepared? Because it's not just about teaching a lot of things, because teachers were always also involved with the student. And when today's, if you look at the online scenario, I heard some schools have an 8-hour online session going on, which I think is crazy, honest personally. Okay, how are you guys managing it? And how are you dealing with the chaos that's going to come in terms of mental health and other anxiety issues with the children and the parents, of course? So how's the school dealing with these things? I mean, I'll go back to Manjula ma'am to say, okay, how is school dealing with it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not seeing the parents, you're not seeing the children.
Absolutely. But you know what? In the elitist schools or the well-to-do schools, it has been much easier because the technology was already there. But I often wonder what happens to those children who do not have a smartphone at home, perhaps, leave alone a laptop. For them, there has been a gap of learning. As far as our school, the RCIS group of schools are concerned, yes, we were already doing a lot of things on technology. We had, apps. We had Zoom earlier in smaller measures. We did have extra marks and various other, vendors who were supplying us with digital learning. Now, what has changed the whole thing? Earlier, it was just like a flipped class. It was actually just going to the children before a lesson or something. But now it's face to face. So in a Zoom class, the teacher is able to see all the other participants, whether it's a Google Meet or a Zoom class. So what has happened is that it somehow has taken the class and the relationship from that four walls to their house. And then we would see a grandmother walking in or a parent also interested to know or, butting in to ask a question. So in many ways, the educators have to be ready. They have to be very, very well, accustomed to these kind of little, difficulties that they may face with too many questions or chaos when a Zoom class is going, or, some of the children not attending at all. But what has happened is that we've been able to, bring in a lot of variety. And the best thing that has happened in India is that most of the online learning has become free, at least till the June end. So, what has happened is that we can sample a whole lot of things. And then maybe when it becomes a paid program, take the best. So the children now are finding a lot of learning materials, and not only that, there are lots of activities. So we have a lot of dance, we have music, we have those connect on Zoom with the principals, with the teachers. So it's become a nice, big, happy family. So I would say that's the plus point of the lockdown, that otherwise I don't think we would have reached out so much to connect with the family. And we would have not made that effort to make it, individualized learning, because you just can't, have a mass learning. So you have to follow it up with some notes or a message or a WhatsApp chat telling them, okay, this is the way you have to do it. Are you stuck there? And then, the assessments, have they really understood? The idea is not just, throwing a whole lot of learning material at them. It's the connect. And I think that's a lovely thing that has happened.
Perfect. Ambuj ma'am, what is your opinion on this? Are you guys prepared, and how are you prepared? And where do you see the issues, if at all there are any?
I agree with ma'am. She just explained everything. I would like to add beyond that how we are doing. In fact, now the teachers are working very, very hard. They have to be very creative. They have to give something different to children, because in a classroom, it's a different scenario that we have. But when we are doing face-to-face, it's a totally a different thing that they have to think. They have to be very, very innovative in ideas. And we have structured it as the same like what we were having in the classes when they were here. That is our timetable. But then we are not burdening them with, say, 4 to 5 hours of learning. A learning of different kind is happening. It is not on the academics that we are concentrating. A day would start maybe with the yoga, with pranayam. That happens early in the morning, where even the grandparents and the parents can join in. So child feels so happy and nice and motivated that my parents are also part of it. And you are dealing not only with the child, you are interacting with the family and telling what the values are and how a day should start. Because we have to give them that happy feeling. We have to bring them out the fear which is all around. When you open any magazine, when you open the news channel, they are only talking about the death. They are only talking about what is happening around. So instead of that, we have to tell that what we are doing is so good. Our government is dealing with it so well. and we are learning from the other countries. So learning can go beyond the textbook, and it has to go. We have to relate it to what is happening around the world and how we are dealing with it. And we have to tell them that world was here, and now we have come here. We have just slipped down few steps. We have not fallen down, and it is okay. It will all be fine, but it is going to stay. We have to tell them that what reality is. We don't have to hide things from them. We have yoga, we have meditation, we have art classes, we have music classes, and every evening 5 to 5:30, we have Aarti Bhajan classes. Where we are talking about the real heroes who are outside working and saving our lives. They are the health workers, they are the doctor, they are the nurses, and they are the security personnel. So we are telling children, tomorrow, when you become a responsible citizen, what is your role that you need to play, and learn from the real heroes, not the real heroes. That is what the call is. And for me, it is not only the academic, it is going beyond the academics and preparing them with value-based education, taking example from day-to-day life which is happening, and we have to bring them out from this fear. We have to bring it out from this and make this life is beautiful. It is very happy. We are giving planet Earth time to rejuvenate itself. So it is fine. Be with it.
I like your optimisms and the way you guys are going about it. It's fascinating. Stella ma'am, what's your opinion? Are your teachers prepared? Isn't it too much of burden on the teachers?
I agree that we will have our own challenges because not every teacher is tech savvy. So as of now, we have not started the classes for the students. So we are in the process of equipping the teachers, the facilitators first, so that they are well equipped to start the online classes. And also in certain schools, we have this mixed group of learners where some of them are first generation learners. So in such schools, we have a lot of difficulty wherein the parents themselves don't know how to operate things. And here, because earlier we ourselves as educators used to restrict the screen time. We used to tell the parents not to hand the mobiles in the hands of the students. And now the school has come into the mobile. So the mobile has become the school, or the laptop has become the school. So that's the new normal that has come in. So yes, it is a big challenge. So we have to face it. We are equipping the teachers as of now. And later on, we are going to equip the parents as well. And then we are going to, start the online classes for the students, so that all the people are on the same page, so that there's no hitch for the students when we start off the online classes. Yes, it is going to be a big challenge, and hopefully, I as an educator, I feel nothing can replace classroom teaching. Nothing can. I truly believe in that, because teachers, the human element is very, very essential, very important. Nobody can replace the teacher. So I hope the lockdown ends quickly so that we all can get back into our classes and we can have that fun with kids. That human interaction is very, very important.
That's nice. Thanks, ma'am. And that's my view. Preethi, what do you think?
Two parts to your question about handling emotions during this time. How are children able to manage their emotions? And two, are the teachers prepared for something like this? So a small anecdote, we created this beautiful online curriculum, and then we sent it out to our franchisees, and they said, yes, this looks interesting, we're going to start this off. And so about a month ago, we started off with our free summer camps. Suddenly we had teachers who said, we don't want to work anymore, we want to quit. And so when we started probing, we realized that they want to quit because they don't know how to handle this whole technology, how to handle this. So we realized that it's not enough just to tackle making a beautiful curriculum. We had to train our teachers also on how they are going to be implementing it. So, and with that training came a lot of thought, because teachers were also scared that parents are now going to scrutinize them very closely. So it's a fear that how can I emote, and especially a preschool teacher is very, very creative. She's always jumping and singing and dancing with the children. So it was a cultural shift that had to take place. So we realized that a lot of preparedness had to happen with the teachers. We tackled that first, and then we moved on to giving the curriculum to the children. Now coming to children, they have been most affected because more than ever before, the parent has been paying attention to them. There's a lot of time on hand, and especially with young children's energies, parents don't know how to deal with it. And with the absence of a school which takes away that lot of that energy, it puts the strain on the parent who's working from home, at home, and has to work as a teacher now. So one of the things that we told parents that they should be doing is have an emotion chart. So, you know, the emojis that we have on our screen, when we type, have an emoji chart, right? And ask children, how are you feeling today? And ask them to point to the emoji the way they are feeling. So when you're asking children how they are feeling, number one, when there is a tantrum going on, you're asking them to point to the emoji of how they're feeling, it distances themselves from that particular emotion. So they're looking at it as a third person. They show you that emotion and say, I'm feeling sad. Even if they're not able to label that emotion, they're able to show you how they're feeling. And so it helps when we are giving them strategies on how to tackle this. Right? So we understood that apart from having just a beautiful curriculum, we had to prepare the teachers, and then we had to prepare the parents for ensuring that they are ready for this kind of an extended lockdown. So
how's the success rate been in educating the teachers and the parents?
I think we have been more or less successful with the teachers. Almost most of them we've been able to onboard into using a technology platform. But there are some challenges definitely, because reaching out to a lot of the parents means that dealing with a lot more temperaments, their different mindsets. So it takes, I like what Ambuj ma'am said earlier, it's about the mentorship. It's about that one-on-one connect with the parents. So slowly getting into place. It's a long way to go, but we are walking, hand-holding the parents as we do that.
Okay. Okay, coming to one question, I'll start with you, Preethi. You know, online classes for preschools. And before I do this, I'm sure there are a lot of parents watching, and I'm seeing a lot of questions coming online. We will answer those questions by the end of the program. One, keep sending in those questions, and I'm sure they'll be useful to a lot more parents who are watching it. Okay. And we will give you lots of tips and stuff like to handle your situation right now. Preethi, coming back to this, I mean, this shocks me. Online classes for preschools. I mean, isn't it taking things a bit too far? Why can't they just have fun? Why can't they just play at home?
Play is important, but then we have all shut off our creativity. Like I think one of the other panelists said, it was a contract basis. You send the child to school, and I take care of, as a parent, I only have to take care of their food and their eating and their other habits at home. So suddenly now I have to take care of a lot more things. So my creativity as a parent is limited as to what are the activities I can do with the child. But as a teacher, I'm trained to look out for creative ideas on how to play with the child. So when I say curriculum, it talks about what is the play I can do with my child today at home. Right? So that's point one. It's about creativity, and we are giving parents something to do with their child at home, and it's completely play-based. Number two, the child needs to see the teacher. That emotional connect, that bond requires to continue, because otherwise the transition is going to be extremely difficult after the lockdown. Imagine, even now, I'm sure most of the panelists will agree, especially in the preschool age, even now when the school year starts, the first day of the academic year is chaos. We have children and parents having a soap opera at the gate, slowly the hands are being parted, and then they're saying their goodbyes and kisses and everything is happening. So it's already very difficult for the child. So add to that, having been with the parent for so long, it's going to be difficult transition. So it's important to keep that connect, which is why online classes are required. But the 7-8 hours that you mentioned online, obviously it doesn't work for a preschooler. For a preschooler, this kind of an interaction, this one-on-one should be maximum for about 20 minutes where I'm having the screen time. Right? So after the 20 minutes, I say, okay, can you go ahead and finish this play? So tomorrow when we meet, can you tell me how you played? So that's the kind of activities we do. So that's how we are balanced.
Oh, that's interesting. Manjula ma'am, what's your feed on this? On preschools having any classes, online or offline? Manjula ma'am, can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
We can't hear, ma'am.
Yeah.
Are you here?
You cannot hear?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can see you too.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think of this whole thing of
I would
preschools
think
having?
the online medium should be used to share, as Preethi said, you know, there are lovely creative ideas with the teachers, you know, how to play a game, how to teach a certain concept to a child, even taking care of themselves, or even helping at home, making a small vegetable or something. So the online should deal with those, you
Ma'am,
know.
can you go back a bit, your face is being cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said the online for preschools should be activities. Like Preethi said, you know, there could be some ideas about cooking together, doing an artwork together, or singing together, or a dance, or, you know, doing some things at home. Because most of the parents, especially now, I think this is the best time for a parent and child to connect. Because we see these days, you know, when they are 1.5 years old, they're sent to a preschool. So 15 months is the age for a child to come to a, you know, a care center. So I think a parent also has to go through the process. Difficult, I would say. And that's where the, you know, the experts, the teachers in preschool can help the parent to deal with the kids with their creative ideas. And by, I'm sure the parents would understand. And I think not more than half an hour. Preethi said 20 minutes, that's perfect. But I think not more than half an hour. And the other things could be sent by mail or WhatsApp or something. You know, what are the activities, board games, what are the things, do-it-yourself activities. So I think for preschools, no learning online. Oh my God, I mean, it's unthinkable.
Ambuj ma'am, what do you think? Ambuj ma'am, I come to you with a different question, because I think the answer is there when both of them spoke. How, you know, this, I mean, I had Manjula ma'am tell me about a lot of abuse that's going on at home, okay? Because the parents are sitting with the child so long, which they have never done for years, and there is possibly a lot of abuse, you know, with the child. How is the school trying to deal with it? How is the school connecting with to a home, say 24/7? Is there anything in place for that?
Yeah, definitely it is there. One is that when we are having programs with parents, our counselors are talking to them, and teachers are also in constant touch with them. It is very important. Now parents have realized that it is not easy to deal with children, whatever age it may be, whether they are at nursery level, kindergarten level, middle school level, or any level. We have to have a lot of patience. So the teachers have so much of patience in dealing with them. And now it's the first time that they have realized that 24/7 when they are with them, how to deal with them, how to control themselves, and how to, you know, emotionally, how do we deal with the emotions? Because emotions are running very high. They're not allowed to go outside. They're not allowed to do socializing. They're all the time at home. So there are various things that we tell them to do it. It could be for the smaller children, okay, sit down with your parents, you start doing some chopping, start doing some cleaning, start doing some dusting. And this is how they have to involve, and this is a real life skill. This is how they are learning that it is okay to do their own work. And it is very nice, and it is a very good to give helping hand to your mom, your dad, and sit with your grandparents, listen to their story from where they started their life and where they have reached today. So when we start doing this and give them a lot of artwork, give them a lot of creative work, they should write the journals, give them a topic, okay, how do you feel about it? It should not always be the negative thing. It should be a lot of positive thing. Let them weave the story around that. And with the story, then you get to know, does this child need any help? Then the mentors, they take charge, the counselors, they take responsibility to deal with it and tell the parents, your child needs some help, and we think this is how you can help the child. Where again, it is an involvement of a
But
school,
tell me,
of teachers and parents. Yes.
Ambuj ma'am, you're part of the JAIN group of institutions. Yeah. And between, say, the JAIN residential and the JAIN public and stuff like that, where do you see a difference of the impact of online education? Because there are different standards of schools in terms of economics.
Yes, luckily, when we say the Jain residential school and the other schools, the other institutions which are there, most of the teachers are tech savvy. They're doing a great job. Yes, they are working very, very hard, and they are like warriors now, because there are so many things that they have to consider. One-to-one, when we are sitting in the classroom, it is a different kind of a teaching. Like the other panelists said, that there are children who are at a different level. Now, how do I deal with them when I am conducting online classes? It needs a lot of preparation. What work will I give it to them? How will I deal them? And how do I bring everyone of the same level? Do I have any remediation classes for them? Do I plan any tuition classes for them? If I'm doing it, where is the slot and how do I work it? The teachers' workload will increase when they are working on 3 different levels: regular classes, remediation classes, and tuition classes. So we have to take care of everything. And like Preethi was telling, I would like to add, I'm a grandparent, I have 2 grandchildren, and I was very, very keen that I speak about it, that both the grandchildren, when online classes are happening, after 20 minutes, 25 minutes, teachers, as she said, they are giving them some task. Okay, you finish this, then we will come back to you, get to you. They are story sessions, what they are doing artwork, they're doing craft work, they're doing cooking, they're doing baking, and they're asking them to be with your mother in the kitchen. And what baking lesson we have given it to you, try this cake, or try the biscuit, or try this recipe and see how it works out, and you can taste it. Because online, you're not able to taste what I have cooked for you children, but when you do it with your mother, you will be able to taste it. So they are enjoying it. And I don't know if time permits me, when they hear the news, Mr. Bala?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. When they hear the news, there was some news which were coming, was not very pleasant for the children. So my daughter switched off the TV. And my grandson, who is just 6.5 years old, he says, Mama, why have you switched off the TV? I can deal with it. It's okay. Let me listen. How many deaths have happened now? So that is the pressure on a child. He is feeling that the news and the channels and everything is giving us update what's happening around. So for that, we have to change and bring in some more things on the TV and all the channels, which will tell them that, yes, there are the happy moments also in life. This is not only about what's happening around.
Wow, that's interesting. Stella ma'am, I have got a question for you.
Yes, tell me.
How, Preethi, you got something to say?
Just coming back to what Ambuj ma'am was saying earlier, it happened with us also that children kept asking what is corona and why are we being locked down. So, it was about children not understanding what was happening, and especially because the news channels, like she said, are turned on at home. So to make sense of it, we created a story around corona, and the virus itself is telling the story of himself traveling around the world. And because when he travels and meets new people, everybody's sick. And so in order to stop that, we have to say,
but
a story had to be weaved around it. But I think it's important that children's questions are tackled and we don't and say.
Yeah, that brings me to a question which I want Stella ma'am to answer. So what is the role of the parent in the future?
The parents, first of all, yes.
No, because the next few months, the role of parent is going to change. The interaction parent
Yes.
child change. So what should it be?
I think now the parent is more involved in the learning of the child. So earlier it was just the educator or the facilitator who was given the task that the learning has to happen through only the educator. But now I think the parents need to pitch in. I think the parents' role has enhanced now. So like what ma'am was saying, that there's a lot of abuse and there's a lot of violence happening at home because parents are spending that amount of time with them. Earlier, that 8 hours or 7 hours the child was in school. So in our school, I follow something called as NVC. I think people must have heard of non-violent communication. So I take a lot of sessions, the parenting sessions on non-violent communication, where we teach the parents to be real. We need not be nice. We have to be real. So that is what we take the parents through, a lot of parenting sessions through NVC. Yes, especially in the pre-primary classes. I think we cannot have online classes where the children can sit and have that screen time and learn. When we tried that out with the pre-primary kids, we found that the kids used to come and touch the mobiles, try and fiddle with that, because they see the images coming there. So we found that it is better to train the parents on the concepts so that the parent can then teach the child at home. And we were there in touch with the parents so that the parents can clarify the doubts and see that they learn the concept well, then they translate as learning for the child. So yes, the parents' role in the education of their child is going to, increase. They have to be there and connect with the teachers to ensure that learning happens, because monitoring is very important. Monitoring, even if it's an online class, monitoring is very important. Supervision is very important to ensure that learning is really, experiential learning is really happening. So yes, the parents' role will change. They have to learn the new age learning tools and ensure that they are there as facilitators. We always say that the mother or the parents are the first teachers. So yes, that's becoming true now. They are going to be the teachers along with us and ensure that learning is happening.
That's nice. Manjula ma'am, what do you think of will be the role of parents? Is helicopter parenting going to increase?
No, I think I believe that the helicoptering will become less, because they would have done a lot of helicoptering these 2 months and they would have got fed up. Because what's going to happen is that they will have to remodel their own behavior, because the child does, a small child will just kind of do what the parent does or the way they speak, and they answer back the same way. So I think there has to be a lot of sessions by the schools or by other people in the society, which gives them ideas of how to deal. It's a huge crisis for the parents, If you look at it from their perspective, they have to also do their online work. They have to also keep the child, busy. They have to do the housework, because we don't have maids and work these days. And at the same time, parenting. So the parenting takes the last, a choice, because, they kind of say, okay, you keep quiet, I'm doing this work. So I think that calmness has to come. And that will require a lot of meditation, maybe some counselors helping them out, and then having platforms where they can, just talk to somebody and say, how do I deal with this kid who's being so difficult for me? And we have to understand that parents now spending 24 hours with the kids and doing their work and the housework is a difficult time. But I think by and by, the nuances, the beauty of being together and, actually enjoying what a child does at home, even an adolescent, the way they talk or they share or even do a lot on technology. I think it's going to connect their parents. Like even a house mom or a dad, just one of them working, I think it will connect, and parents will need to take on parenting seriously. It can't be a part-time job, because I think it came very naturally to our parents in our time. I mean, they never cribbed if it was holiday. They made a whole lot of goodies and they allowed us to do a lot of things we wanted, and it was great fun. But today, when a school closes or we have a short day for some reason, the parents go berserk. And so that's where the change has to come. That the parent
So
has to
we are
learn.
going to go back to the good old days also. We might be going back to the good old days
Yes, I think in many
of
ways
enjoying a holiday.
we are cooking a lot of things, those exotic grandmom recipes are coming. And then I think we are eating healthy, because then we are cooking ourselves and then doing a lot of things, cleaning. So I, for one, I'm learning a lot about planting. I had beautiful exotic plants, but I didn't do anything to learn about how to take care. So each one of us is growing, and we are connecting to the world around us, and of course to our children.
Thank you, ma'am. Stella ma'am, you got something to say?
Yes, I had a request to submit to Bala sir. Why don't we have this counseling session for parents through Hoopsters?
We are having a series
the
of
need of
counseling
the hour.
sessions for parents, and we have tied up with some of the top organizations who are going to deliver those workshops. You will hear about it, I think, by Monday or Tuesday latest.
Okay.
It's going to be a series of activities for parents, actually,
Okay.
and teachers.
Yes.
Okay. And if you keep following us on Facebook and Instagram for time being, you will see this stuff. Oh, definitely we are getting into it because that's the biggest issue that's going to come forward now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I've got a lot of questions from parents who are on this line. One of the questions is very interesting. How do you cope as a parent who is also a teacher? Shalama, we can go to the question. Answer.
Hello?
Yeah, how to cope as a parent and who is also a teacher?
That's a very valid one. And we have this difficulty in the teachers because they, like you said, there are no maids at home, so they have to manage the house. If they have children, school-going children, they have to manage their lessons. Then if they are a teacher, then they have to manage their own classrooms. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I think the school has to, understand the need of the teacher, and they have to ensure that sufficient time is given for the teacher to attend to their children as well, because even their learning is very important. So it's a big challenge where, and especially if, you have 2-3 kids studying in the same school. Again, managing the online classes simultaneously for all of them, it's going to be a difficult task. And I would say during this lockdown period in the education sector, the real warriors are the teachers. The real heroes are the teachers.
So how do they manage it? I mean, the parent has a problem. So what's your advice to that person?
The school has to, give that sufficient time. They have to ensure that when their child's learning is happening, no class is scheduled for that teacher, that particular teacher, so that she can attend to her child's needs as well as a parent, and then attend to her classes later on. So I think it should be an understanding between the management of the school and the faculty.
That's interesting. Preethi, you have something to say on this? Preethi,
I wanted to come in a little bit on Manjula ma'am's points, what you were discussing about role of the parents. One big shift that I'm seeing, that parents are now going to look at their child as not just the sum total of their report card, because now they know that the child is a lot more. So I see that a shift will happen from thinking about just the academic or the academic intelligence of the child, the IQ of the child. The shift is going to happen about, oh, my child can sing, oh, my child can do this also, so that shift is going to happen towards higher order thinking skills, which is what we all as educators want. So that is a new trend I feel parenting will take. So I wanted to just say that.
I really hope so, because that's what we were talking about for the last 3 years, as far as Hoopsters is concerned. That very little time has been given for co-curriculum without understanding the actual meaning of co-curriculum. And this is a question, and Ambuj ma'am, this question for you. What happens to grade 12 students awaiting exams and college admissions? Worried parent.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting question. Yeah, very, very interesting question. And there are a lot of queries which we are getting. And every now and then we are also getting circulars and notices from the CBSE. And we have to understand this phase, what they are going through. Because there were a lot of planning on their side, the preparation, what they had done it, the few could not complete their examination, board examination. So they are in dilemma whether they're going to write or not write. If they do not write, how are they going to get admission into universities? What are the grace points which universities are going to give it to them? And going out is for some time is not feasible, because it's not going to open very soon. They had their dreams, they had their dream universities that we are going we will be going after our 12th class. So our career counselors are in constant touch with the children and with parents and guiding them that if one door is closed, there are so many doors which are open here in India itself. It may take some time, but the universities, colleges are going to reopen. If not in a real time, they are also going to start online classes. And later on, when everything is settled, then we will take a call and start the session or semester little later for the professional courses. But it is going to happen, and they'll have to, it is only a time that they have to wait for some time. They have to be very, very positive, and they have to keep their mind very calm, and they have to do a lot of research also, that okay, when I have given this time, what is that I can do it to grow my intellectual growth. This is an opportunity. They can read a lot, they can research a lot, and when the semester starts, they will be ahead of time. I think that they all must do it, and our career counselors are in constant touch with them and guiding them.
Thank you. I hope the parent has his question answered. Preethi, I got a question from another Preethi, who says, what is the suggested time online for a 5-year-old? 3 to 5-year-old. Yeah, 3 to 5.
So I'm going to answer that as a total online time and not specifically to the schooling part of it. So these are unprecedented times. So do not expect the child to stick to the routines that they were earlier. So earlier, I would recommend that maximum for a 5-year-old would be an hour with a 20-minute interval after every 20 minutes, right? But today, I can't limit that child because the child's other avenues of play have been washed out because I'm not able to go meet a friend, not have another playmate to continue my play with, right? So even if the online time is more, it's okay. What you need to watch out for is the tiredness in the child. Is the child completely just glued in, not not concentrating on anything else, not being able to reciprocate your emotions? If that's happening, that's too much. So in today, I cannot define what is the best time, that only 2 hours or only 1 hour or anything like that. You just look for the tiredness. It could be the physical tiredness that you see in terms of the child's eyes drooping. So things like that you need to be on the lookout for. But every 20 minutes, shake them out of that where they are seated in front of the gadget. Shake them out, give them a 20-minute break. So at a stretch, only 20 minutes. And it depends on what resources you have available with you. As a parent, I can't impose restrictions on them also. So it depends on what resources you have available with you to keep the child otherwise occupied.
Thanks, Preethi. Manjula ma'am, answer this question. How do you enable group discussions among students?
Okay.
Online.
Yes. Online, there are a lot of tools, which the school can introduce it to the children. It could be the projects, the Google project. What happens is that a group of children together do a project, and then they present it to the rest of the group. So there are a lot of tools like that in the, and it's all free. And there are apps where children can do, their projects and take a picture and share it. Like, for example, we have an app called YOLO app, and where a child just takes a pic of whatever he's done or a small video and shares it with the rest of the group. Now that's one way, so a child cannot actually have a discussion. But I think with a moderator, they could even have a Zoom session like this, where each one of them presents what they have done. And it could be smaller groups rather than the whole class, being targeted. It could have a mentor teacher and a small group, and then we give a task, and then they or a question or a brainstorming discussion, and it is shared amongst all of them. And I think that's very necessary. It shouldn't be one way. What now for the last 1 month it's happening is, even if it is a song or a dance, there is a dance teacher who's trying to tell you the steps, and the children from their side, we are not allowing much because of the chaos. If the groups are smaller of 5, then these kind of discussions and doing projects together, brainstorming is so much easier. It shouldn't be more than 5, I suppose.
Okay, to the parent who asked this question, I think you should all ask your schools as to what softwares or technology that they've got
we can share
to initiate these kind of group discussions. I'm sure each school has got their own particular,
Absolutely.
software.
Yes.
So please do encourage with your schools. I'm sure the schools will be glad to actually, help you out with it. Thank you, ma'am. Ambuj, ma'am, there's one last question for you. How does a parent follow up on online assignments and classes? Because parents are paranoid about the aspect that I don't know how to ask, where's the homework, how's the homework? So how does the parent follow up on online assignments? Ambuj, ma'am, all yours.
Yeah, it is, the app which school is using. They can have a small orientation program for all the parents. And in that orientation program, all the apps, they have a specific area and the files. Like in certain apps, there are a file where we can upload the assignment. They have to just go and open the file and see that how many assignments have been given. And then there is a link where the child can complete the assignment and submit it into a different folder. The teacher, she opens, she'll go through the assignment and then she will write the remark and she will give the grade also. So this is very, very important for the schools to orient the parents, whichever app they are using. There are multiple apps which are available now online. So orientation is very, very important. Once they get oriented, it is very users-friendly apps that are available nowadays online.
That's interesting. Okay, last question to Dr. Stella, ma'am. Ma'am, don't you think people who do not have access to online, who are not online savvy, I'm talking about the parents and the children, aren't they going to increase the divide between the have and have-nots in the future if the online thing continues?
Definitely it will. Definitely it will. I think in even schools like the Millennium, we have, like I said, we have the first generation learners. So it's going to be very difficult for us to manage things once we start off the online classes. So I have scheduled an online orientation, like what Ambuj ma'am was talking about, an orientation for the parents on Tuesday. So to take stock of things, like how the things are at home, how many connections they have, and how many of the parents are working, because the systems or the phones have to be available for the students when the online classes commence. So there are a lot of challenges that we will face. So we have to see that we take stock of the situation at every home, and then we start the online classes, because we just blindly cannot start the classes when they have challenges back home. So we have to take stock of that and orient the parents, and we have to ensure that we have the correct knowledge of what is happening in each house. Only then we can have a proper online session. Yes, where the parents have gone to their natives, where there is no connectivity, because some of them moved to their natives before this lockdown was announced. So they are unable to come back. So we are going to have a lot of challenges, such challenges as well, because some of them who are there in the remote villages, they are unable to come back because the borders are sealed. So yes, they would be missing the online classes if we commence the classes now. So there'll be a learning divide as well, because those who are attending the online sessions and those are unable to do that. So yes, it is going to be a big challenge for us.
Manjula ma'am, you seem to have a answer.
I was just thinking that we should go back to the television and radio lessons. Somewhere along the line, we lost it. Because Doordarshan still has the radio lessons and the TV lessons, television, and I think most of India has access to television, and that would be wonderful, because NCRT syllabus or something, there is an online teacher, and they could have even chats on that if it is required. I mean, if it has to be two ways. Otherwise, at least the lessons can be conducted online, either on a television or a radio.
Actually, the government of India is planning that.
Yes.
They're actually planning that.
Because
In the 80s, they started there. It somewhere
accessibility.
died out.
Yeah,
but they are planning now.
The gap will be,
Yes. But do you think there really is a solution to this? Isn't it a scary factor?
Yes, like one of my friends, panelists here said that nothing can take away learning with a guru, with a mentor, face to face, because that's the best learning. But yes, as the new normal comes in, and we may need to do it again and again and again for various reasons. And I think we'll have to keep a very good balance of face-to-face. In some place I was reading to have alternates, like one day face-to-face lesson and one day online. So one is that you have social distancing. You can use the same school with spaced out children's class, and also carry on normal schooling. So you could have one day of face-to-face and one day of online. So maybe we'll come up with something creative like that.
I think it sounds good. I think we are running out of time. Each of you, do you have one message to the parents? A one-liner message.
I would say enjoy your kids. This is the God-given situation where you can be right in the midst of action.
Nice. To all the parents and teachers who are watching this, please send in your questions to bala@4c.in, because we will be answering those questions. We're not going to avoid those questions, if not now, tomorrow, later. And do keep in touch with what we are doing, because we have a series of programs coming for parents and teachers. Ambuj ma'am, what's your one-liner to say bye?
There's a beauty in simplicity. I think the simple life, what we are leading now, what we are forced to do it, there's beauty in it, and enjoy that beauty in simplicity. And there is so much to learn from it.
And Stella ma'am, what's your...
I would say treat this lockdown as a golden opportunity for bonding with family, and also treat your home as a learning lab, because all the learning is going to happen there now.
Preethi, anything you want to say?
Taking off from where Stella ma'am left, the home is where all the learning is happening. So include your child in everything that you do. Make sure your child is cooking with you, learning with you. When you're online, they're doing their work. So in everything that you're doing, make sure that the child is part of it. So this is the best time, like all the other panelists said, to bond, to learn, to just reconnect with each other. So that's it.
That's nice. Actually, from Hoopsters, we are also trying to do some fun things. Actually, the whole concept of League of Action Heroes, we are trying to bring it in a fun way. So we're going to be introducing a lot of the so-called present trend of challenges, and about things of parents and children doing together. So look out for it. And I hope this thing has been a lesson to all of us, the lockdown, what I say, and hope we evolve from there, hope we don't get stuck and we remain optimistic. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Preethi, Ambuj ma'am, Stella ma'am, Manjula ma'am, thank you very much for coming, because it's important for us and for the parents. And to all the participants who actually logged on and stayed through the whole program, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, look forward to more of this. And anything you want, please do write to us. It's not a one-off affair. Okay, our events are going to be on a continuity basis. You can keep in touch with us. A lot of things are going to happen. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening. Take care. And see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Manjula ma'am, thank you. Preethi, thanks a lot.
Sir. Thank you.
I hope you guys
Thank
enjoyed
you,
it.
ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Stella ma'am. Thank you, Manjula ma'am.
Stella ma'am. Thank you, Manjula ma'am.
Thank you all.
Hey, did you guys
Thank
enjoy
you, Stella
it?
ma'am. Thank you, Bala.
Manjula ma'am.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manjula ma'am. Thank you, Preethi ma'am.
Thank you, Preethi ma'am. Thank you, Stella ma'am.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
enjoyed it?
Thank you, everyone.
Nobody can see me or hear me.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Son, but really, the matter? You know,